Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm here with Markus Aschenbrenner from Zollner. Markus, amazing year for Zollner in 2022. Huge growth, huge success. One small acquisition, but almost entirely organic growth. What do you put that down to?
Yes, it was a very successful year last year, 22, and thanks to our employees, we could really manage the growth and the demand of our customers. And the acquisition that we did on the East Coast in the US was more a strategic acquisition. We don't do it out of growth reasons, because we wanted to be fast in the US market. We see all the acts coming, the geographical things happening, and we wanted to be fast in order to deal with the demand that we see in the future. Having a footprint in the US is important, in our opinion, to deal with all the things which are happening right now. And if we would have done a greenfield, it would have been too slow. And that was the reason why we made that acquisition. So that has nothing to do with growth perspective, more the strategic point behind.
Yeah, and it makes lots of sense. And today we're at the CATEC Festival of Innovation. Lots of talk about this idea of Europe United and the need for Europe to have more kind of billion-dollar plus EMS companies. Obviously, they're all competition to you, and you're out in front at the moment. But that's important to have that breadth of companies here in Europe that are building global businesses and building global footprints.
I think it is important, absolutely right. And if you look at the EMS footprint in Europe, with more than 2,000 EMS companies being in Europe, and a lot of them very small ones, I think there is the necessity that we get some bigger EMS companies, even if it is competition, as you said. But if we really wanna reshore into Europe from anywhere in the world, and that's exactly what legislations are looking for. You just can do it if you have bigger EMS companies, because it's also a matter of size, is also what kind of investments you can do in terms of technology, in terms of digitalization, automation. So that depends on growth perspective and the size of a company. Otherwise, you can't deal with that, and this is exactly why that needs to be done.
Yeah, and when I look at Zollner, I see a very strong, evolved global footprint. And as we see geopolitical changes, it puts pressure in different places. But rather than thinking about reshoring, I feel there's this strong trend towards regionalization and the idea that we can get to shorter supply chains. You still have a strong presence and a growing presence in China. And there's still a huge demand for you to manufacture in China for the Chinese market. Do you see that in region for region as being key to the future of Zollner, not low-cost environments, shipping product to higher-cost environments?
It is in fact key, especially for the products where we are in. Our industries where we are in is industrial. It's automotive for sure. There's a lot of medical business in our house, and also test and measurement, as we call it. So those are the four major industries that we have. And if you look at the products that we produce there, it's a low volume high mix, complete system integration. That's what we're doing in those areas. And I'm pretty sure that the demand of being localized is getting bigger, because everybody's talking right now going out of China, moving anywhere else in the world, reshoring into the other regions. But I'm pretty sure that the other trend is as well there, because a lot of those products that China is consuming right now in the industries that I said is imported into China right now. And I'm pretty sure that there will be legislations coming in China to force companies to produce those products in China, and this is exactly why we are still investing in China. We are actually finalizing an expansion of our building, which will be done in the first quarter this year, and ready for production in the second half of this year. And that's exactly to support that initiatives that we think will come.
Yeah, and those developments can happen fast in China, which is really interesting. I also wanted to congratulate you on making a choice that stood out. I don't know how many years ago, but it was building your Central American site in Costa Rica. Back then, everybody was saying, why aren't they in Mexico? Why are they in Costa Rica? Right now, we're seeing severe wage inflation, talent shortages in Mexico that you're perhaps not seeing in Costa Rica. How does that feel? Obviously, you feel good about it, but it's been a big success for you.
I think if you look at the decision that we made many years ago, it was absolutely the right decision, because with the reshoring into the North American territory, the people in Mexico, or the employees in Mexico or in the US and Canada, that's one of the key things, the challenges which are there. In Costa Rica, we still have another situation. There's a lot of employees available, also well-educated employees available. We take advantage out of that because we are actually setting up a program to have well-educated people transferred into Europe to support us here. And Costa Rica is a success story because we started in 2015 with production. We are now actually finalizing the plans to do our first expansion there because we are short of floor space in the meantime. So we're expanding there, and I'm pretty sure that it will develop pretty well over the next years.
And you've seen OEMs follow you in there, and it's created a local market as well as an export market for the North American market.
Yeah, there is a local market, especially in the healthcare and life science area. They started many years ago with consumables down there. Now they're moving more and more system integration in Costa Rica, and there's not a lot of EMS guys there. So the first choice is Zollner right now, and that helps a lot.
Yeah. Last question in terms of collaboration. I was delighted to see you on the guest list here. I think it was gracious of Rainer and also really smart of Rainer to have you here. Do you see this kind of practical, kind of friendly relationship between EMSs within Europe important to the progression of the industry?
I think the important thing is, and that was also a lot of talks today in the presentation and in the panel, is that we put the electronics industry in the right spot in Europe. If I look at the last 2 to 3 years, there is a lot of talks about chips, about chip manufacturers, subsidization of that in Europe as well to reshore that competence into Europe. But nobody is talking about the manufacturing of that. So what we need to do, and I think so occasions like today is really to get the view on the electronics, also not just on the chips, but also on the rest of manufacturing. And it's the backbone of our industry in the meantime. And if you look at how open EMS or how frequently EMS is brought in broadcasts or newspapers or something, we're not there. And that's exactly the right thing, an occasion like today, to bring this in another side, in another view. And I was happy that as Rainer invited me, because we are on the same page there, that we need to do something for the EMS industry in Europe to get more public, to get more view there, because we're all fighting about talents. And if you're not seen in the industry, how should anybody, go to you as an employee? And that's why I'm fully behind that initiative and support that.
Yeah, and two voices is always better than one. It was great to see you on the panel. I really appreciated your input there, and I look forward to chatting again soon. Thank you.
Thanks for your invitation. Thanks.